I said to the dustman, "You're taking my stuff." "Yeah," he said. I said, "Everything in this bin matters." He said, "Come on, pal, we're on a tight turnaround here." I said, "You're taking my stuff." He called to his mates. "We got one here." I said, "That's my past you're taking." And he said, "Uh-huh." I said, "I haven't got any other past. I can't go out and buy someone else's past and pretend it's mine. All the stuff in here happened to me." And he said, "Am I taking it or not?" And I said, "Why are you asking me? This is all much bigger than a yes-no thing. It's about identity and culture." "And bins," he said. "We are what we throw away," I said, "and you're a cog in a machine that is cutting us down to size. The machine doesn't want us to know who we are, and the way it's doing this is to cut us off from our pasts. It's not your fault," I said. "You have to earn a living, but you've become a tool in their hands." And he said, "I'll just do next door. If you change your mind in the meantime, I'll come back and get yours." This one's called My Brother Gets Letters. And sometimes when I've told this story, people think it isn't true. I promise you, this is a true story. When I was a boy, I noticed that my brother used to get letters. I didn't get any. None at all. When his friends went on holiday, they sent him cards and jokes, and he'd sit there laughing and pointing at them. This is really good. Sometimes he'd get some kind of letter from people he didn't even know. Something the letter said, in the letter it said it was an offer, something going cheap or even for free. But me, I got nothing at all. And I was jealous of him. Until one day I was looking at the newspaper that Mum and Dad got, and there was an ad for something in the newspaper, for something special. It was a memory course. They would help you find out what they called your inner mind force. If you could find your inner mind force, you'd be able to remember everything. And down the bottom, down at the very bottom, there was a little form. You had to fill in your name and address, send it off, and you'd get a letter back telling you how you would find your inner mind force. Simple as that. Fill in the form with my name and address, sit and wait, and I'd get a letter. Now, of course, I wasn't that bothered about my inner mind force. What I wanted was a letter. That's exactly what they promised. I'd get a letter. And then I looked for some more. There was one on how to cure baldness. I was only 9 years old and I wasn't bald, but send off for information and I'd get a letter. There was another one about a chair that went up the side of the stairs. I didn't need a chair that went up the side of the stairs, but yes, send off for information and I'd get a letter. And there was some more, and I sent them all off. Secretly. I didn't tell anyone. Then I went up to my brother like I'd done nothing new or special and said really casually, "Hey, I bet out of us two, I get more letters than you." And he said, "What? What are you talking about? No one writes to you. You never get any letters." I said, "Okay." I said, "Okay, let's see. We'll keep a score, me and you. See who gets more." "Great," he said. Shook my hand. "Done." "Oh, hang on," I said. "What do I get when I've won?" "No prizes," he says. "No prizes. But whoever loses has to do whatever the winner says it. Okay?" "Great," I said. "Yeah, great," he said. He must have thought I was crazy to have taken him on. He was dead sure he would win. Inside, I was so excited. I thought, I can't wait to see his face when these letters start turning up. Well, I didn't have to wait long. The first to arrive was a letter with an ad to do with bodybuilding. There was Mr. Universe saying, "Build power-backed muscles in just 70 seconds a day." "There you are," I said to my brother. "A letter." That's 1-0. He sat there reading the ad. "Rippling muscles, on guarantee. Measure your progress on our unique power meter." I waited for my next letter. Next day it arrived. It was one about dieting. There was a picture of a man and underneath it said, "A few years ago my life was a nightmare. I used to look like this and look at me now." And then there was a whole load of stuff about some miracle pills. I didn't read the rest. 2-0. I'm winning, aren't I? I said to my brother. He was starting to get really annoyed with me and my man and his miracle pills. Next day, there were 2 more. 2 more! There was a very glossy booklet on a pension plan and another one on shoes for the larger man. For 3 days, he hadn't got anything in the post. We sat opposite each other at the breakfast table. He was munching his toast. I was making a neat little stack of all the leaflets and letters that I'd got back. 4-0 now, I said. You want to give in? You see, they're coming in every day now. And sure enough, not long after, something did arrive, but it wasn't quite what I was expecting. It was a great big parcel. It had come from Liverpool. Who's it for? I said. Look, here, said my dad, pointing at the address. You. I couldn't believe it. It was the first parcel I'd ever had. Go on, open it, he said. Here's the scissors. My brother and mum and dad all stood round me to see who had sent a parcel to me. It was wrapped in red paper. I peeled it off. There was a big brown cardboard box. I pulled the lid off, and inside was the thing we used to have on our beds before duvets or quilts were invented. They looked pretty much the same. It was called an eiderdown. Yeah, an eiderdown. Mum thought at first it was a big pillow, but as we pulled it out, we could see it was this huge thing, much bigger than me. Who sent it? My dad said. I don't know, I said. Well, how much did it cost you? It didn't cost me anything. They just sent it. I was panicking. Remember, I was only 9 years old. Did you send off for this thing or not? My dad said, no. I said, I just filled in some form. It said there was something for free. Fill in the form and it just come. Mashugana, he says. It means crazy person in Yiddish. Mashugana. They mean the eiderdown is free for 7 days. If you don't want it, you have to send it back. Keep it longer than that, you have to pay. Are you going to send it back? Yeah. I said, that means you won't, he says. Don't say that, Mum said. He wasn't to know any better. But what were you doing? My father said, I wanted a letter, I said. Well, get your friend Haribo to send you cards from Devon when he goes instead of sending off for box loads of bed stuff. Oh, I felt such an idiot looking at the eiderdown. I looked at my brother. He looked back. What's the matter? He said. 5-0. Well done. He laughed. I think you've won, or do you want to go on for a bit more? No, it's okay, I said. I don't care about any of that. Forget the score. So you'll wrap up the box and send it back, Dad says, unless you want to pay for a new eiderdown for your bed. But you know, I didn't do it straight away. I didn't do it the next day or the next or the next. The eiderdown and the wrapping was sitting in the corner of the room in a gigantic mess. I'm thinking, the eiderdown's growing. Now hang on, the box is shrinking. Anyway, 4 days went by and I still hadn't sent the eiderdown back. We were all having our tea and the doorbell went. My brother looked up. That's probably the police, looking for someone who's stolen an eiderdown. Dad went to see who was there. We could hear voices coming from the door. Moments later, he was back looking very serious, straight at me. It's for you, he says. I could have died. Is it the police? I said. Do they want to know about the eiderdown? No, he said. There's a man out there. He's got something for you. What do you mean? Men don't come round with stuff for me. But I went to the door and they all followed behind me to see what it was all about. There was a man there with a black notebook in his hand. He looked down at it. Mr. Rosen? Is it? He said. No. I said, you want my father? M. Rosen, he said. I gather your father's H. Rosen. I said, yes. M. Rosen, that's me. So he says, right then, it's outside. Shall I wheel it in? What? I said, the washing machine. Washing machine? I said, oh no. That's not for me. Well, it says here, M. Rosen. Do you want to see it? No, I said, I only send off for free things. Yes, he said, the demonstrations are for free, but not the washing machines. I don't want it, I said. I looked round for help from the others. You can imagine how I felt, but they were hiding behind the door, laughing their heads off as quietly as they could. I turned back, looked up at the man. It's in the van, he said. I brought it all the way from Harlesden to show it to you, he said. No! I said, no, he said. Isn't there anyone else I could show it to? He looked down at me. I looked down at my feet. Then he just shut his book and went. And I shut the door behind him. And straight away my brother was in there with, shall I add that to your score? 6-0. Have you won yet? I said, I think I've had enough of this letters bet. And he said, why? What's the matter? Don't you want a washing machine? You could use it to keep your eiderdown clean. Oh, no. The eiderdown. For a moment, I'd forgotten about it. I can't pack it into the box, I said. But Mum said, don't worry. I'll help you send it back. What's coming next? A bed? But Dad said, hang on. What's happened here? The bet. Who's won the bet? And what does the winner get? My brother looked really happy and said, I've lost. Now I've got to hand it to him. He gets the most, and that means he gets to choose what I have to do for him. All I want, I said, is I don't want to hear any more about it. If I have to send off to get a letter, I'm better off without it. Okay, my brother said, let's call it square. Great, I said, let's call it square. But even now, when there's someone who calls round for me at the door, and my brother answers it, he'll call out, Michael, Mick, it's for you. Someone's got an eiderdown for you. Clever cakes and other stories. Gobble guts. Giant gobble guts lived in a cave and ate children. As soon as the children in the little village of No were big enough, gobble guts came raging down from the mountain, grabbed them, threw them into his big bad bag, and took them back to his cave. There he boiled them up in his great stinking stewing pot and gobbled them down. Oh, he was truly horrible, and hairs grew out of his nose. The last 2 children left in the village of No were twins. We're all alone, the 2 girls said to each other, with no one to play with. Flit and Flat, for those were their names, were still very, very small, but they knew that soon they would be big enough for giant gobble guts. And if they knew they were big enough, then you can be sure giant gobble guts knew too. Let's not wait for him to come and get us, said Flit to Flat. Let's go and find him. Up the mountain they walked towards giant gobble guts' cave. When they were nearly there, they came face to face with him and his horrible hairy nose. Who are you? He roared. We're Flit and Flat, and we were looking for you, Gobble Guts, said Flit and Flat. Oh, were you? Gobble Guts said, and he reached down and put them in the big bad bag. Then he turned round and marched back towards his cave and the stinking stewing pot. Now's my dinner for today, he said. The girls took no notice and played foggy plonks in the big bad bag. About halfway to the cave, Flit hopped out of the big bad bag and started throwing stones up to her sister, and she put the stones in the bag. When the big bad bag was full, both girls jumped away and ran off home. Gobble Guts got back to his cave and lay down to rest. When I wake up, I'll have dinner. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Lovely juicy children for dinner. He slept and snored for a day or 2. When he woke up, he opened the big bad bag, and all he found was a heap of stones. He thumped the walls of the cave and wailed, I've been tricked. A few days later, giant Gobble Guts came out of his cave and marched down the mountain. Flit and Flat came out to meet him and his horrible hairy nose. Aha! There you are, girls. I was looking for you. We were looking for you, said Flit and Flat. Once again, he reached down and put them into the big bad bag and marched back up the mountain towards his cave and the stinking stewing pot. Ha ha! Now, here's my dinner for today, he said. The girls took no notice and played knuckle bashing in the big bad bag. About halfway to the cave, Flat hopped out of the big bad bag and picked off a chunk of sticky resin that was oozing out of a tree trunk. And again she hopped out and ran from tree to tree until she had a great sticky load of it. Then both Flit and Flat smeared it all over the back of Giant Gobbleguts' jacket. When that was done, they hopped out and ran away off home. Gobbleguts got back to his cave and lay down to rest. When I wake up, I'll have dinner. Oh, yes. Juicy children for dinner. He slept and snored for a day or two, but when he tried to get up, he found he was stuck to the ground. How he roared and shouted. The mountain shook with the noise of it. Wow, I've been tricked, he wailed. A few days later, Giant Gobbleguts came out of his cave again and marched down the mountain. Flit and Flat came out to meet him, and his horrible hairy nose. Aha! There you are, girls. I was looking for you. We were looking for you, said Flit and Flat. Once again, he reached down and put them into his big bad bag and marched up the mountain back to his cave and the stinking stewing pot. Now here's my dinner. Aha! For today, he said. The girls took no notice and played nose squashing in the big bad bag. About halfway to the cave, Flit and Flat hopped out and covered each other with mud, thick, squelchy mud all over. Gobbleguts got back to his cave and said, This time I won't lie down for a rest first. That's how those two little devils tricked me last time. I'll fling them into my stinking stewing pot right now. And he did. And then lay down to rest. When I wake up, I'll have dinner. Oh, yes. Oh, juicy children for dinner. He slept and snored for a day or two. Inside the stinking stewing pot, the thick mud on Flit and Flat cooled the water down and kept them from burning. When the water was cold enough, they sat in the mud, scraping the mud off themselves into the stew. And then they hopped out and ran away off home. When Giant Gobbleguts woke up, he thought, Aha! Oh, yes, wonderful children's stew at last. He got the stinking stewing pot bubbling and boiling. And when it was all hot and steamy, he dipped in his great big spoon and, mud soup. Wow! I've been tricked, he wailed. And that was just about as much as he could take of those tricky little twins. And he didn't come down the valley ever again to find children to eat. Well, with me today is Shlomo. Shlomo, how would you describe yourself? What are you?
I would describe myself as a world record-breaking beatboxer, which means I make music with my mouth.
So tell me now about beatboxing.
Yeah.
What is it?
Beatboxing is when you make music with your mouth. So things like this. Like that.
How did you do that?
Well, it's easier than it looks.
Right.
Would you like me to show you?
Please, yes.
Well, there's 3 sounds you need to learn.
Right.
The letter P,
P,
the letter T,
T,
and the letter K.
K.
Like this. That's your P. Good, yeah. If you bring your bottom lip down and kind of do a bit of a sad face. Very good.
I've got a bit puffy cheeks.
Puffy cheeks are good.
But your cheeks, they seem to get tense when you do it.
Puffy cheeks is fine.
You show the audience on that one.
Try doing it without puffy cheeks then.
Sounds like I'm a bit out of breath. Is that all right?
It sounds like techno. Go like that. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's the first one. That's
just looked like me looking angry, that was. Yeah.
Maybe that's part of it.
All right. Very good.
So that's
okay.
the letter P.
That's letter P.
We call it the kick.
That's the kick.
Yeah.
The P is the kick.
The second one we call the hi-hat. This is the letter T. Yeah, make it short and sharp and powerful, like. Amazing.
Is that right?
Yeah, perfect. And the third one is called the snare, and it's the letter K, like this. It's like a K with H's after it. Try that. Spot on. You can do a long one. You can do a short one. And I like what you're doing with your hand. Like, for some reason, it just sounds way better if you, like, do something. You hit something in your head, you imagine something like... It's PTK.
Which way around did you do it? PTK. No, I can't do it.
It's cool. It's really fun.
If it's a word like pizza, I can sort of, if I can say pizza, it's sort of, or with a k on the end.
So that's good because it gets you thinking about sounds in groups, but sometimes, and I see lots of kids being taught to go boots and cats is another way of doing it, but sometimes that will make you join your sounds together in a way that doesn't really help with the rhythm. So I see lots of kids come up to me because I do shows for kids and they're like, oh, boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats. But then sometimes all of their sounds get squashed into one big lump.
Yes.
And what I think is better is if they separate them and go, so each sound gets the love it deserves. So don't go so fast.
No.
Go slow.
Slow.
And clear.
Yeah. I can only do that.
That's good enough.
No, lost it.
That's lovely. It's really good. It's got a groove to it.
It's just a sort of 4/4 thing, though, isn't
You
it?
can hear
It's
my
quite...
chair joining as well.
Oh, that's yeah. We're going to get the chairs going. That's wonderful. And then, so now do the thing that you did at the beginning when it all sort of, it was all other sounds in there. There was like singing and...
Oh man, there's so many ways you can, so many places you can take it, like... Like, it's just limited by your imagination. There's so much you can do.
Do you ever put words in there? I'm coming at these things from a kind of words.
What should we say? What words should we
I
put
got a
in?
little poem that goes, he had a little sticker and he had a little ticket and he took the little sticker and he stuck it to the ticket. Now, he hasn't got a sticker and he hasn't got a ticket. He's got a bit of both, which he calls a little sticket. And you could say at the end, stick it, stick it, stick it. I was just thinking of that because it's got the k and the t and a little bit of a cert in it, which is a little bit like what you're doing. Yeah. I don't know whether that... But you made a nice rhythm to it when I was doing it, didn't you?
Yeah, when we were jamming.
Yeah, so shall I do it again and then you make noises?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go then.
Count me in.
Is it 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3, 4.
He had a little sticker and he had a little ticket and he took the little sticker and he took... Forgotten it. We'll do it again. I was so interested in what you were doing.
Don't let me distract
So here we
you.
go. Count me in.
1, 2, 3, go!
He had a little sticker and he had a little ticket and he took the little sticker and he stuck it to the ticket. Now he hasn't got a sticker and he hasn't got a ticket. He's got a bit of both, which he calls a little sticket, sticky, 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 sticky. A sticky, 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 sticky. He had a little... Oh, I was going to start again. No, that was it. That was lovely.
I like it. That's
oh,
fun, man.
wow.
Yeah,
that's
and
very
like
good.
with beatboxing, yeah, you can make music with anyone, anywhere you are. You don't need any instruments. You don't need to like buy anything. You can just make music any place you go, which is lovely for you and annoying for your teachers. But that's their problem.
Yes, that's it, right. Now, Shlo, you were talking earlier about your mum and dad and telling you that they bought you a drum kit, right? But then you couldn't really play it except between like 3:15 and 4:45 or something.
Oh, I couldn't practice. Do you know what happened on the day that I got the drum kit? It was a Sunday morning. Well, do you know what really happened? Shall I tell you the whole story?
Please do.
So it was the night before my 8th birthday. I was so excited, right? And I couldn't sleep because you can't sleep the night before your birthday. And do you know what I heard? Heard my dad coming up the stairs. Do, 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 do. I was like, that's weird. Why my dad's coming all the way up the stairs? And then I heard him go, back down the stairs. I was like, oh, okay, he's probably gone now. I'll just go to sleep, right? I'm just lying there thinking I've got to go to sleep. I've got to go to sleep. And then do you know what I heard? Why is my dad coming upstairs again? He's gone back down. Okay, you know what? I really do need to get to sleep. It's my birthday tomorrow. Just as I'm drifting off, do you know what I heard the third time? And this time I'm like, I'm going to have to go out and see what's going on. So I'll go outside to see why my dad keeps going up and down the stairs. And he's holding a drum. And he's got a very guilty look on his face. And I suddenly realised I'm getting a drum kit for my birthday. And do you know what I did? I burst into tears.
Why?
Because I was so happy.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, in the morning, I couldn't wait. I had to get up super early at like 6 a.m. or something, or however early kids get up. And I ran all the way downstairs, and there was this shiny drum kit with a bow on it. And what do you think I started doing? I started bashing it as loud as I could. And after about 2 minutes of this, the phone rings, and it's the neighbour saying, excuse me, do you know who's got a drum kit? And they're playing it at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. And from that point forwards, my parents had to be strict about when I could play it.
And when could you play it?
I think I was allowed to play it after school, but not after 6 p.m. So I'd have about an hour and a half maybe to do my practice. But that's not enough, Michael. The rhythm's coming out of me day and night. So that's when I started using my voice instead.
Yes. This thing about your dad telling you what you could and couldn't do, it's reminded me of a little story that I tell. Okay, and this is like at tea time. My dad used to try to like run the whole sort of tea table the way he wanted to do it. But the thing is that he thought he was cleverer than he was. In Yiddish, you'd call that being a knacker, right? So he thought that he was a knacker. In fact, he was always telling me I was a knacker. He'd say, don't be a knacker, but he was chief knacker, yeah? So he sits down and says, so it goes like this. We sit down to eat, and the potato's a bit hot. So I only put a little bit on my fork, and I blow till it's cool, just cool, into the mouth. Nice. And you see, my brother, he's doing the same. Till it's cool, just cool, into the mouth. Nice. And there's my mum, she's doing the same. Yeah, we did come from that sort of a home. Here we go. Till it's cool, just cool, into the mouth. Nice. But my dad, what does he do? He stuffs a great big chunk of potato into his mouth, and that really does it. His eyes pop out, he blows, he puffs, he yells, he bobs his head up and down. He even spits bits of potato onto the plate, and he turns to us and he goes, watch out, everybody, the potato's really hot. That's a knacker for you, see?
That's
he thought he knew, but he didn't know, you see?
I like
now,
it.
you know that sound?
Yeah.
You know, or if the whole little bit where I'm going something like, where I blow on it, till it's cool, just cool, into the mouth. Nice.
Nice. It's kind of beatboxing, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Nice. Keep looping that for me.
I'm trying to think.
Blow on the potato.
Okay, so it goes till it's cool, just cool, into the mouth. Nice. 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 Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Love it. Very good. You just do it with anything, can't you?
Yeah. It's fun, man. Like, what if you do that again?
Nice. Nice.
But what if you did it with a beat? Like, nice. Because that's what it reminds me of, is PTK, which is the basic beat I taught you. Try do that again.
Like that. Nice.
Yeah. It's nice.
It's nearly there. Yeah.
And then you could like.
I like it when it's one, but when it's against the other.
Yeah.
It is nice. But yeah, I suppose I could try and teach myself. But I quite like the idea that someone else doing the rhythm.
Like a duet.
Yes, I like that.
But that's it. Like, anyone can do that.
And you could do it with. I mean, I suppose you could just do it with your name, can't you? What's your full name?
My full name is Simon Shlomo Khan. 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 I'm Simon Shlomo Khan. What's your full name?
Michael Rosen, Michael Wayne 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 Rosen.
That's kind of catchy. Michael Wayne Rosen.
Just do it with anything.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I think you should do. Kids at home, try making up a beat now where you beatbox and say your name and do it over and over, and then you've got music of your own.
Yes. Now, it would be great if you subscribed. That is, you become a subscriber. Look out for the subscribe button. What happens, you see, is that I make new vids every few months, and then I post them up one a week. So if you subscribe, you get to see the new ones just as they come hot off the press. Ew.